The good, the bad, and the ugly. The crypto markets have been looking ugly lately. There's no denying that. Altcoins are getting wrecked, Bitcoin and Ethereum have been sliding, and there hasn't been this much fear in the markets since May of this year. So are you fearful? Because to be honest, I'm getting a little scared. Well, let's hide under the covers together and weather the storm, because it's time for chicocrypto. So let's begin talking about Bitcoin, the ugly. Once again, the asset was having a rough time to begin the week. We all know about the big dip that came last week, pushing the hourly below 47K. But over the weekend and into Monday, we were testing this level a couple of times again, bouncing off of 47.5K. This has caused big fear across the board. Pulling out the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, we can see it has already caused more fear than the September crash. And it's getting to fear levels we saw back in May, when we crashed down to around 30K. So the big question on everyone's mind is this going to be a short-lived batch of fear like in September? Or will this be more extended and take up to 3 months to get us out of fear and back into a bull run, which means greed? Well, let's now just switch gears to the good, the reason this may be short-lived. Willy Woo, popular on-chain analyst, put out a chart December 4th. He said, shrimps have been buying the dip, 7-day moving average, hence at a V-shaped recovery. The 2017 top red was marked by shrimps selling after the price started crashing. What does he mean by shrimps? Well, those are holders of Bitcoin who have less than one. They are the small fish in the crypto sea. They are retail. Blow-off tops in the past have always featured the shrimps being spooked and selling during a blow-off top and the resulting downtrend. That is not happening today. They are buying as the price falls, which as we can see back in March of 2020 during the Corona crash, a similar thing happened, which resulted in a V-shaped recovery. So that is bullish. Retail isn't spooked just yet. They are buying into this dip and they're buying like mad. But then there is this. Will Clemente, another popular analyst, tweeted, "We like the negative funding. A long time no see, my friend," with a chart showing funding flipped from positive green to negative red. So what does that mean, Chico? Well, when the funding rate is positive, longs pay the shorts a premium to hold their positions in perpetual futures. Longs will get more easily liquidated when the price goes down. When the funding rate is negative in the red, it's the opposite. Shorts pay longs a premium to hold their positions in perpetual futures, and shorts will get more easily liquidated when the price goes up. Thus, getting into the negative means we have seen a reset, which is a good thing from a macro perspective, which Will explain further in one of his recent newsletters before the big crash. He posted the perpetual funding chart expanded out and said, usually what we see are regimes of either positive or negative funding before a major liquidation event that flips the regime. Looking below, we can see negative regime after March 2020, positive regime into September 2020, negative/mixed regime uncertainty heading into Q4 2020, positive regime until May of 2021, but got several resets along the way, negative regime over summer, positive regime since August, reset in September, now sitting in a positive regime with no reset yet. That was before the crash. Well, Will predicted it. We got the reset. Perpetual funding went into the negative for the first time in a long time. The markets were overdue for an event like this. So now that we have talked about the good, let's talk about the bad. Tomorrow, something significant is happening in the crypto space. 8 high-level crypto executives, CEOs of some of the biggest firms in the United States, are in the hot seat before Congress. The U.S. House Committee on Financial Services is holding a hearing led by Chairwoman Maxine Waters titled Digital Assets and the Future of Finance, Understanding the Challenges and Benefits of Financial Innovation in the United States. And as we can see, those in the hot seat testifying before Congress are Jeremy Allaire, CEO of Circle, Samuel Bankman-Fried, CEO of FTX, Brian Brooks, CEO of Bitfury Group, Charles Cascarilla, CEO of Paxos, Danelle Dixon, CEO of the Stellar Development Foundation, and Alessia Jean Haas, CEO of Coinbase. Now, why do I say this is bad? Well, it's all about crypto regulation. So Brian Brooks, he is CEO of Bitfury Group right now and will be testifying. But do you remember what he used to do? Well, he was part of the government. In May of 2020, he became the head of the banking regulator, the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller. During his short tenure, they passed some very friendly crypto rules for banks, like allowing federally chartered banks and thrifts to provide custody for crypto assets like stablecoins. Well, guess what Maxine Waters, who is leading the U.S. House Committee on Financial Services, did right when Biden won, and it was known Brian Brooks would be stepping down. December of 2020, she called for Biden to rescind OCC crypto guidance, including that national banks may hold stablecoin reserves as a service to their bank customers. And guess what happened just a couple weeks ago? The OCC slammed the brakes on new bank charters with new barriers to using crypto. The Forbes article on this stated, "Today, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the nation's regulator of large banks such as JP Chase and Wells Fargo, issued Interpretive Letter 1179, which erects supervisory barriers that will slow the entry of the fast-growing cryptocurrency industry into the U.S. banking system." Acting Comptroller Michael Zhu effectively issued rebuke to the work of previous Acting Comptroller Brian Brooks by instilling greater risk management thresholds prior to any bank conducting crypto asset bank activities. So don't you find it kind of suspicious? Brian Brooks, who is now in the crypto industry, is one of those testifying. What are they looking to get out of him? What are they looking to get out of this hearing? That is the question. Only time will tell, and we will learn tomorrow. So we've talked about the ugly, the good, and the bad, but how about we end this episode off with some more good, a little altcoin alpha. Now, if you didn't know, card trading from Pokemon to Magic to sports is getting hot once again, as it was thought a dead industry. The industry has been booming since the pandemic took place, with record-setting card sales happening this year, like a Michael Jordan card going for $2.7 million and a Tom Brady one going for $2.5. Well, there is a new innovative player in the scene called Dibs, which is a real-time fractional card market, meaning the cards can be broken into pieces and owned by different entities, and those pieces are trading live in the market 24/7. And Dibs just launched last week and business is booming. As we can see, there have been over 100,000 card trades from over 150 player collections. There are over 500 cards listed and the application already has over 17,000 users. So how does Dibs work? Well, from their website under Changing the Collectible Game, they say, buy fractional interest in authenticated sports cards, stored in vaults and secured with blockchain technology. Yes, blockchain technology, but which blockchain? Well, before we get into that, there's something we need to realize. Amazon invested in Dibs, which was announced with the go live of the trading platform. Amazon invests. So who, Tyler? Who is the blockchain Dibs is built on top of? Ethereum? No. Solana? No. Cardano? Oh heck no. We can figure out which one by going to the Dibs FAQ under How Does It Work? They say, Dibs uses tokenized representations of physical assets, item tokens, to enable instant trades, either for a full item token or a fraction of one. These tokens exist and are transferable on the WAX network. The WAX blockchain and network is where Dibs lives. Amazon invested in a WAX application. Now, don't you find this tweet and picture interesting from 2018? The WAX blockchain Twitter said, "Some call us the Amazon of virtual goods. Wonder what Jeff Bezos thinks of that. Maybe we can teach each other a thing or two about marketplaces," with a picture of their former president, Malcolm Cassell. Is Amazon interested in WAX? Well, there is no doubt they are interested in one of the applications built on top of it. Cheers, viewers. I'll see you next time.